Johnny B is in the house, Chiefs Kingdom, and we're about ready to have an interview with Mitch Holthus. Let's start this ship up right now. Let's go.
I go middle of the field, call timeout with Kelsey. 10-yard line, 15-yard line.
Roll it, roll it.
Welcome, Chiefs Kingdom. We're here live. It's Johnny B in the stands today. We're about to have an interview with Chiefs legend voice, Mitch Holthus. I'm ready for it and exciting, and I can't wait to get it started. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft and maybe some of the questions he doesn't get a chance to usually get asked. So looking forward to it, and we're going to have him here on shortly in a minute to ask him all the tough questions.
That's right, Johnny B. This is a special edition. What we normally call is Brags in the Stands, but Johnny B is my co-host on this show, and a great one at that, a man that wears many hats here on what we call Brags in the Stands. But tonight is Johnny B in the Stands. Thank you very much. And that is what you're known for, Johnny B. I mean, along with the duck race, phenomenon that you've taken off here in the last year, entertaining us through this pandemic. And then, of course, your gambling prowess that you bring here with Johnny B for three. Like I said, a man that wears many hats, obviously ultra talented with your sports, and everything else, tennis and basketball. We were talking about that last week, but you're a man just like me. We're kindred spirits. We're guys that pride ourselves in going to the games and being in the stands. There's you and your lovely wife, Abby, at the Super Bowl. And, you guys just have so many great moments that we share on this show each week during the season as you go to basically every single home game and a good portion of the road games. You were at the Super Bowl the last couple of years. Here's your infamous shot, of course, of winning.
That one never gets old, baby. That one never gets old.
What was going through your mind there when that happened? Because, we just saw the video of, the Patrick Mahomes epic touchdown run. What was that? 40 yards in the AFC Championship. And, what was that? What did that feel like for you being a lifelong Chiefs fan and knowing that this team was the one?
Well, I was feeling it, I was feeling it that year, that whole season. We went to all the games. We went to a ton of road games that year. And I just had that special feeling inside. And then when we got to that AFC Championship after kind of, losing that coin toss to the Patriots, and obviously the heartbreak that is, we were kind of getting used to all the heartbreaks, but it was a different way. Now we get so close, we lose the coin toss, we don't stop them. Weren't really known for our defense. And then I'm sitting there at the AFC Championship. We're trailing by a few points. And then I'm in the right place at the right time, as I usually am. I don't know. Maybe the football gods have blessed me. I got that video of Mahomes doing the epic, as we call it, the run. And I knew that was it. I knew we were going to the Super Bowl. We never trailed after that point of the game. And it was a fantastic feeling. And you can see it was party time in the stands, baby.
Well, yeah. And as you're also, like I said, a man that wears many hats, you also are known for making awesome signs that you take to the games, and most of the time we'll make it on the Trinitron or on the TV. And you had Zero Doubt Dog. This was a sign from last year, but I feel like this has been your bravado here these last few years. You have zero doubt when it comes to these Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, that's from my boy, the Honey Badger, when we won the Super Bowl and we were kind of trailing and he knew we needed to get a stop. He was going up to the other defensive players, on the sidelines, and he was telling them, zero doubt, dog, zero doubt. And I've had some interactions with, the Honey Badger, and he's watched some of the races in the past, the duck races. And I figured I wanted to give a shout out, a tribute to him. And that sign that was at this year's AFC Championship game, and those of you who were at that game, that sign made several appearances as we took it to the Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia have to wait a little bit longer, maybe until Mahomes retires. Let's go.
Absolutely. Well, while we're waiting for Mitch Holthus to join us in just a few minutes, a couple minutes away, why don't you go ahead and retweet this along on your account, Johnny B.
All right.
So your followers can watch us live, and anybody that's watching us in the live chat, please post your comments. It'll be brought up here underneath. And Bear Truth 9 is in the chat. Yeah, I might have jinxed Casey a little bit because, we covered football here all season long as we geared towards the Super Bowl. And I certainly was nervous for Johnny B because he went to the Super Bowl the year prior and won it. And to double down and go 2 years in a row really took guts, in my opinion, because no one wants to see their team lose in the Super Bowl, God forbid. But I guess when you got one in your pocket, it makes it a little easier. But man, that's the price of playing poker. And I know Johnny's good at poker, so he took that risk. But hey, I have no doubts Johnny B will be back in the stands for a Super Bowl coming to a theater near you.
Well, I'll tell you this, obviously we didn't want to miss the Super Bowl. We were lucky enough in Kansas City and Missouri to have fans in the stands for the entire season on a limited capacity. So we were one of the few teams that had that last season. And I wasn't going to miss it. Obviously we lost the game. There was a lot of, underlying factors that led to that loss. But I got to be honest, after seeing my boy diving, throwing balls off the back foot, sideways, parallel to the ground, seeing some of those photos that I didn't get a chance to see, when I was actually at the game live, I've never been more motivated and excited about the future of a team than I am after that loss. Sometimes you got to lose a little to get that hunger back, and I'm as hungry as ever, I'll tell you that.
That's right. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. We have a very special guest joining us now. So I'll let you take it away, Johnny, with the intro for our main special guest. Here we go.
All right, Chiefs Kingdom, you have it. Chiefs legend, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, joins us now. Mitch, welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing tonight?
Good. That was a great moment where I met you guys in the pro shop a couple of seasons ago. Who knew that was going to be the precursor to Super Bowl 54 championship? And Johnny, what's with the duck race? I get my rookie duck race. I'm leading Mahomes, and I know you've got a little levee there. It's like the Chicago River. You just lift it up, send me over to the mud bar. Boom, I'm out. Mahomes wins. There was no way I was going to win that race and beat Mahomes. You just had it predestined.
Well, some people say it was fixed. Other people say that the water levels do change, Mitch. Unfortunately, with every time we get rain or don't get rain, those water levels change naturally. This is not a man-made course. And some people are saying that your duck was inexperienced in its first race and got a little hot around Dead Duck's curve. I'm not going to say if it was Mahomes, would you be more upset or less upset, but Mahomes knows how to finish, and he did just that. And I'm sure you'll get your win here soon in a future race.
Well,
rookie mistake. What can I say? But
I'll tell you what, Mitch.
Underneath that little brook you've got.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitch, and we really appreciate your time coming on. Johnny B is a great friend of mine. He used to be neighbors in our old, subdivision where he does these duck races, and I kind of watched the evolution of this whole duck race phenomenon last year and really put a smile to mine and my wife's face watching him and his wife, Abby. They'd be digging these ducks out of the creek with, the pool net and everything else. Like, these guys are committed. So, I was going to finish it with it, but I'd love to share the race with our viewing audience so they can understand and maybe get your opinion on his announcing expertise since you're the legendary announcer yourself. So quickly, here is Johnny B's duck race featuring Mitch Holthus for the first time.
Johnny B side here, Chiefs Draft Day edition of duck races. Well, we already know what our boy Veach did, and now maybe we got the best offensive line in the book. Today is the day Mitch Holthus duck makes his debut, but let's all reminisce about the greatest trade up in the history of the NFL draft when we traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. Showtime! I can't even believe it. Let's take a look at the ducks. All the usual suspects and lucky numbers. The offense is rolling today. Don't forget to follow me and Cynthia, my new Duck Races partner, and retweet any Duck Race post for your chance to win one of her fabulous prints. Ducks line up. Ducks line up. And we need to hit the draft. And they're off, and Butt Kicker has the lead, and here comes D-Train. It's D-Train, Butt Kicker, and Big Red, 1, 2, 3. It's the D-Train, now Butt Kicker, and here comes the Cheetah. It's the Cheetah, Butt Kicker, and Big Red. Mahomes is trailing, and now here comes the Cheetah, passing a little bit as they get to the horseshoe. It's the Cheetah in the lead, and Butt Kicker, and here comes Mitch. Mitch has got his headset on. He's ready to call for himself. It's Mahomes and Mitch. Mitch going around the outside, Dead Duck's curve, and here comes Mahomes coming through the jungle. It's Mitch and Mahomes, and who is it going to be? It's touchdown, cat. Oh, no, he gets stuck, Mitch gets stuck, and Mahomes says, I've been here and done it, mister, and Mahomes takes the lead on the anniversary of the greatest draft pick in the history of the NFL. Winner, winner, ducky dinner as Mahomes devours the flock. Woo!
There it is. Johnny B is a talented man. What did you think of that call and how he does his thing there, Mitch?
Pretty average, but honestly, you can see how it was. Actually, it's very good. And then, I mean, Darwin Thompson's got to be ecstatic that he's in the duck race, as am I, just to make the cut to get there in front of the screen when the flag drops. But honestly, if you slow-mo that thing down, you do it frame by frame, you'll see it's one of the biggest scandals since like Bugs Moran against Al Capone, north side against the south side of Chicago.
Well, we are known
watch the slow-mo. This is, I mean, Goodell, wait a minute, Roger Goodell's calling. I told him, yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
Well, that's funny because he had a shekel on Mahomes. So it's so funny he's calling you now because, we are known in Chicago here, the Chicago areas. You see the Chicago stuff behind Greg for the Black Sox. Are you saying this is another controversial fixed sporting event?
Fix was in.
Hey, I wasn't around in 1919, but I know enough about it.
Well, it's pretty good. You got the headset and everything else on the duck race. So I'll tell you what, Mitch, normally, like Johnny said, this is a Chicago type show, and David Kaplan, a good friend of mine, was nice enough to introduce me to you, Mitch. And again, we appreciate your time. So I'm going to let Johnny B take it away. He works so hard here on my show with the gambling and duck race, everything else he does. And I wanted him to have an opportunity to talk a little Chiefs with one of the best to ever do it. So we really appreciate your time. I'm going to hop in the back. Take it away, Johnny.
That being said, though, I'm a big Northwestern fan. Cap will tell you I'm a big Northwestern fan.
Well, when the basketball season comes back around, especially college basketball, because we talked at that point, I definitely want to pick your brain when it comes to that. But it's all football all day here tonight. So, Johnny B, you go ahead and take it away, bro.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows Johnny B is football. A lot of sports I play, and I did play. But football is what we're doing here, and it's the number one sport in the world. So, Mitch, let's get right into it with the draft. I thought Veach did a great job. I got you and Veach in for the duck races, because we had to let a couple guys go with Big Fish and Mitchell Schwartz there. So I brought you guys in together. I wanted to bring you in just because what you do for the community and everybody in Chiefs Kingdom obviously loves you. I believe you started with the Chiefs in 1994, if that serves me correctly. And I've been a Chiefs fan since I was a little kid in 1986. And then our good legendary player, Derek Thomas, took it to another level. So just kind of get your input on the draft and who you like the best on the draft. I like a lot of these picks myself, and I just want to know who you like the best in this draft and what you're looking forward to this season with the new additions.
Well, let me give you 4 of these here. If we were putting 4 ducks in its own race, it would describe this class, Johnny. 1 is Veach, the job that he did, and the job that he's done in less than 3 months to rebuild the offensive line since the Super Bowl 55 loss. But the first V is value. I think the rest of the NFL looks at this Chiefs draft class of where the Chiefs were slotted after they made the Orlando Brown Jr. trade to get out of the first round, basically, but to get a second-round pick back was huge by Veach. But the value to get a Nick Bolton at pick 58 and then to come back to get Creed Humphrey with pick 63 are 2 guys that can have an impact right away for the Kansas City Chiefs. Nick Bolton, even if he's not starting at linebacker, is a special teams maniac. I talked with Dave Tobe about him. He can play all 4 core special teams. This guy was a tackle machine, led the SEC in tackles. But he also has coverage skills. People have knocked his coverage skills. If you go back and look at him, he's done an excellent job. And then Creed Humphrey, I'm telling you, there's these second-round centers in Chiefs history. Tim Grunhart was just announced going into the Chiefs Hall of Fame this fall, and he was a second-round pick as a center. Jack Rudney, a good Northwestern Wildcat, fits that mold. And so I think Creed Humphrey's a big-time value pick. The other V I would say is versatile. These guys are all versatile. Every one of these picks going down the line. And then I would say vision because there is more to this class than meets the eye in some of the metrics, and we can get into that.
Yeah, I'm getting excited for the draft. Obviously, for me, my personal favorite is Creed Humphrey. I just think he's one of those guys that, he was a high-level wrestler. He's really good with his hands, and he just seems like a cool guy. Like he was tweeting immediately about the barbecue, and he's all hyped up. I'm friends with the owner of Jack Stack Barbecue, but obviously I go to them all. So I'm excited about Creed. I'm also excited about the possible future pairing of Bolton and Willie Gay Jr. with the speed and what that could bring in the future. And then if you could talk a little bit about, the value that you were saying there with Trey Smith. I believe it was a 6th-round pick for us, Trey Smith.
Well, I'm going to tell you that Trey Smith, if this works out, Trey Smith could be the biggest value pick in the entire 2021 draft. And before you think that's hyperbole, when you look at Trey Smith and his metrics, he looks like an NFL starter for a long time. Now, you go beyond that and saw what he meant. I mean, it was not easy for him at the University of Tennessee. They've not had good seasons.
Right.
It's been some tumultuous times there in Knoxville. Trey Smith has been like the beacon of strength. Now, why did he drop to the 6th round where the Chiefs were able to get him? He's had some health issues. There was some discussion about blood clotting with him. And this whole draft, whether it's the Bears or the Chiefs, I mean, the other 30 teams, it is a bit of a crapshoot just because of COVID and the fact that there was no combine.
Right.
And you can't do the extensive medical analysis that you normally would do. But the Chiefs athletic training department is the best in the NFL. Rick Burkholder, I call him the witch doctor, is amazing. And the fact that they have contacts all over the place to do as good a job as they can with their medical analysis. Kando's another one who was injured at Florida State. But Smith, he could be a starting right guard for a long time. Creed Humphrey could be a starting center for a long time. My thesis, Johnny, I know you follow me on Twitter, and I put this out on Sunday, this is the second lap of Patrick Mahomes' career. Think about the first 4 laps of the first 4 laps of the first 4 years of his career. Now it's his second lap around the NFL track, meaning the next 4 years. It looks different. The cap changes. Mahomes, even if he restructures, has got more of the cap. So you have to find guys that can run that lap with him. And you got an offensive line now with Orlando Brown Jr., young and emerging. You've got Joe Tooney, maybe the best left guard in the game right now. You've got Creed Humphrey at center with a future and being on a rookie contract, maybe Smith, but there's going to be some competition there at right guard. And then don't forget Lucas Niang at right tackle. You could have this young, feisty offensive line that could be there for all the next 4 years of Patrick Mahomes' second lap.
Right. Excited about that. We did see that tweet, obviously, that we posted up there, and we're excited for that second lap for sure. I love the analysis on it and the way you look at it, and it makes a lot of sense to a lot of people. Switching gears on that and going to Mahomes, when was it the did you know moment for you when you saw Patrick? What moment was it that you said, hey, this could be the face of the franchise, possibly the face of the NFL, and bring a Super Bowl, which ultimately he did, and a Super Bowl MVP to Kansas City?
2017 training camp, St. Joseph, Missouri. He lit it up, and he was running the scout squad against the first teamers. And my question, like everybody else's, and that's the reason he went to 10. I don't want to this is going to get sensitive for the Bears fans watching. That the reason he fell to 10 was everybody watched him kind of play crazy at Texas Tech. He put up big numbers, but he runs around and he can't run an NFL offense. Well, that was not with Andy Reid, and it was not with Eric Bieniemy and Mike Kafka, Northwestern Wildcat, Chicago kid. He's surrounded by NASA scientists. But I saw them in that 2017 training camp. There was one play. I'm standing in the end zone, and it's red zone, and it's the 2s against the 1s, and Mahomes is running the 2s. And I saw this deep crossing pattern in the back of the end zone with a window about the size of the square on this podcast. And I go, he won't throw that. He won't throw it. He throws it, and it just goes, zoop, and it was the touchdown. I turned around, walked through the fans, and walked down to the trees and walked around for like 20 seconds where nobody could see me going, oh, my gosh, we found this guy. He is for real. And he played that way all throughout 2017 in the training camp. And then he showed the flashes in that last game against the Broncos when coach let him play when we couldn't move the needle. And Alex was spectacular. Hopefully he's going to be in the Ring of Honor someday. We all saw his courage and what he did. But Mahomes can make throws that are very difficult. He's got this guy to throw to. That move that he put on one of the better corners in the AFC was crazy, the way Kelsey and Mahomes works together. But red zone tight windows, the ability to be down. Look how many drives we had last year, Johnny, that were over 88 yards. It's crazy.
Yeah.
7 or 8 yards that were 95, 96, 97, down 4. You've got to go 80 yards, and you've got 5 minutes to do it.
Yeah.
He's passed all of those tests. And in 46 games, nobody's done it better in the history of the league.
Well, for me and for my wife, Abby, we were at training camp for the STM season ticket holder. And we were sitting there in that 2018 training camp when he took over the reins. And we're sitting there close, and they're doing those red zone drills that we were kind of just watching with the throw to Kelsey there in the AFC divisional this year. And all of a sudden, I'm just listening to the sound of the ball. I'm just listening to the sound of the ball come out of his hand. And I said, we got something special there. So we actually got the honor to meet Mahomes that day right there. It's a picture my wife took. That's my football right there that I got autographed. He talked with us. He wasn't a huge superstar yet like he is now because he had not thrown the 50 touchdowns yet. I got big fish. We met Kelsey. It was a great day. So my wife and I, we get on the plane to go to L.A. for the opener against the Chargers in the little soccer stadium. So Tyreek runs the punt back. We're sitting down in the first row. We're hyped. We're screaming. There's tons of Chiefs fans there. I feel like I'm at a hockey game or a basketball game because there's not many people there, and it's sold out, and it's all red. And then all of a sudden, Mahomes drops back, and he throws that quick little bullet slant to Tyreek, and he takes it to the house. I look at my wife, Abby, and we say we're going to the Super Bowl or we're going to win a Super Bowl. And that's when we looked at each other. I had my "you can't catch a cheetah" sign up. And that's when I knew, maybe not that year, although I was feeling it, that we were going to win a Super Bowl. And hopefully, inevitably, I think we'll win multiple Super Bowls with Showtime Mahomes. And then obviously through the 50 touchdowns. And the rest is a history in progress, as I like to say.
Yeah, that game against the Chargers in that little soccer stadium, that was weird playing in that place. But anyway, the RPO, that was the start of the RPO game. That's an RPO game, and
Right.
he just ran away from everybody. After the game, he's walking by Phillip Rivers. He doesn't see Rivers. Rivers sees him, and Rivers goes, like, "Tyreek, man, how fast are you, dude?" Like, it was just – it stunned him how fast Tyreek was. But it's also the ability of Mahomes to get the ball in a split second to Hill. It's like passing the baton in the 4x100 meter relay in the Olympics. How good are those handoffs? And so Mahomes throws that ball with perfection and timing where it's got Tyreek going at full speed. That's what helps make those plays.
Yeah, it's something to see. And my wife and I, we go to a lot of the games. Obviously, we're season ticket holders. I've been on and off, but I've been solid since 2010 when we drafted Eric Berry. That's when I got him for sure for every season. And we've had our seats in section 127, row 7 ever since. And we've got some of those great shots like the run from Mahomes and a lot of great other plays. The Kelsey diving over the top versus the Eagles was right onto our lap and all that stuff. But what's your favorite moment at Arrowhead for yourself? Since 1994, you've been around the Chiefs. What is your best or favorite moment at Arrowhead in your career?
Well, the one you're watching now, which was the Kelsey touchdown against the Bills in the AFC Championship, would be my second favorite moment in that stadium, because the first was beating Tennessee to win the first AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium. And what I said that day was the team that Lamar Hunt founded has just won Lamar Hunt's trophy in the stadium that was Lamar Hunt's dream. And it was a moment. It was like winning 2 Super Bowls that year because of what the AFC Championship meant for years and years and years. One thing the Chiefs have in common with the Bears is the NFC trophy is named after George Halas.
Right.
The AFC trophy is named after Lamar Hunt. And I believe the Bears won it in they won it a couple times, I think, the year in 85 when they won the whole shebang. But for the Chiefs had never won it. They had never hosted an AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium until 98, and then they lose it by this much to New England. But now they come back in 2019 and win that game. And I just remember the moment, the confetti, the tears, and seeing Norma Hunt on that stage at about the 20-yard line to my right with Clark Hunt holding the Lamar Hunt trophy. They had done it. And so winning the Super Bowl was just like putting gravy on a great potato. But to win that AFC Championship game for the first time was the numero uno moment for me in that great stadium.
Well, for me, and I've been going there since 1986, was that AFC Championship, obviously. Seeing Mahomes run right to me in the run. I got it on video. I'm not even looking at the video. I'm watching him run, and somehow I record it. I don't even know. And then it's pure chaos. And then later in that game, when you can hear the crowd when Mahomes drops back, and you hear him go, "Sammy, Sammy," and then he chucks the bomb to Sammy. And then it's pure chaos. It's party time in the crowd, and everyone's hugging each other. People you know, people you don't know. Tears are falling. People are screaming. Beers are spilling. And it was party time. And then it was really party time for me because I had taken a gamble and bought my Super Bowl tickets for Miami before that game was even played. Let's go. I was that confident. So it was kind of exciting. But another moment I know for Abby, my wife, and I, our second favorite is probably the day, and I've been a huge Tyreek fan since day one when he was a rookie. I have his first touchdown on video that I don't even know if I've shared it yet because I've been saving it for the right moment, Mitch. But I made the "you can't catch a cheetah" sign, so that's very famous. It's been on TV at both Super Bowls. And the day we were playing the Raiders prime time, and the crowd is going, Tyreek, Tyreek, Tyreek. And of course he takes the punt. And of course he runs right to us in section 127 for the score. So that's my second favorite moment.
That moment, too, was big because it sealed the first of 5 straight AFC West championships.
Right.
Because that 2016 game was a showdown. It was a Thursday night game. Jack Del Rio was coaching the Raiders, and he wasn't very happy about coming to Arrowhead on a Thursday night on a short week. Got it? We'd had to do it twice going out there. Jack had forgotten that. But when they came in, it was a showdown for the division. And Tyreek, called the shot. The Arrowhead crowd called the shot. And, 5 division championships in a row. It ties an all-time AFC West record, which has just shown you the level of excellence and winning since Andy Reid drove into town. His lowest year was 9-7 in 2014, and they went to the last weekend. Every other year has been a playoff, 5 straight division titles, 3 straight AFC championship games, 2 AFC championships, and a Super Bowl championship. Right now, that's tough for any team in the league to match that. Back to Arrowhead, though, Johnny. Chicago's such a great sports town, and I love it. I do a lot of college basketball there, whether it's Loyola, I've done Northwestern games. But Chicago's an awesome place. But if a Chicago Bear fan just once has a chance to come to Arrowhead Stadium, they'll see a very different venue. And I think you would agree with me in that regard, just because of the architecture, the sightlines, and how loud that place is. When Guinness Book of World Records says the 142.2, they're not kidding. It's just a unique place in professional sports.
Well, I've got a lot of friends, Mitch, from different teams. Obviously, a lot of Chicago friends, but I've got some other people I've met in my travels, and I've brought a lot of people to Arrowhead just for that reason. I've got a couple of little connections now. Maybe if I need an extra ticket or two, and of course, I have our seats. But every time they come, I give them the whole shebang. I show them around, and that's one of the things as a kid that I fell in love with, just the people, the community, the stadium. And as a young kid, I love Dan Marino and some of these other players in the NFL. And, I got to watch Barry Sanders play and some other ones. And that moment when I got to Arrowhead and just experienced, even as a kid, everything that you just talked about, it was what sealed me. And from that day on, I said, Kansas City Chiefs are my team. The passion, because I'm a passionate guy with my sports, was there from the beginning. And I've gone to some games with my mom. And ever since we've been together with my wife, she didn't know much about the NFL. Here she is right now making an appearance. She's been a diehard Chiefs fan, didn't know really anything about football since 2000. She became a Chiefs fan. So she had the hardships,
I'm 20 years in.
Over 20 years in. We were at the Colts game when we had the big lead and lost. We drove to that game. We were sitting close. We are obviously at the AFC Championship versus the Patriots. Are we still deciding games by coin tosses? I can't even do it right now. I can't. Let's go. What if you have Pat Mahomes and your defense is not that good? Give me a chance. It'll be more fun anyway. So, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mitch, these two, between this picture and this picture, I think embodies what John and Abby are all about. When I met them a few years ago, I thought I was the most avid fan going to games. And Johnny's like, well, I drive to Kansas City for every home game. And my mind just exploded. And you're absolutely right. I can't wait to get down to Kansas City with Johnny. I don't think there's any better person to show me the ropes out there. And certainly the next time the Bears are in town, I'd love to make it. And, you're right.
Arrowhead, though. You think about a Cubs playoff game or a Bulls playoff game when they were – that's what it's like every time. It's never a time where you're like, well, this is a docile crowd. What's everybody doing? It's on fire every single time. and the tailgating experience is just very unique, different than most places.
Yeah, the tailgate at a Bears game is spread out. You have South Lot, but you don't have the surrounding tailgating lot like you guys do. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. And you're right, between all the different, you have Chicago connections, but the Chiefs, you mentioned the trophy with Hallis, when Brian Urlacher gave Virginia McCaskey the Hallis Hall trophy, or the George Hallis trophy, I should say. That was a powerful moment for Chicago Bears fans, so I can understand how you felt. And then also with the Kansas City Chiefs, Hank Stram. We're both, Johnny and I are region guys from Northwest Indiana, and Hank Stram is from the region. So there's a lot of different ties there. I was curious from you as far as day 3 guys.
I never see you when I do Valpo basketball in the region.
I've been to a few Valpo games, but I'll tell you this much: I'm good friends with
Crusader.
I went to Valpo.
Abby's a Valpo Crusader?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
we just took it up a notch.
Hey, I've been there a few times when they've clinched their way to March Madness. I went to a few of their games for the Horizon League Championship once, and I probably would have been a season ticket holder if my guy Sasha Stefanovic would have signed with Valpo, but then he got the bigger offer for the Purdue Boilermakers, so I've been a season ticket holder for Purdue ever since, and it's been a lot of fun watching him grow there. But I just certainly root on Valpo. Bryce Drew put us on the map a long time ago with one of the greatest shots.
That was in my day.
Man, what an amazing moment! But
knew Valpo then. They were like, "What school? Oh yeah."
What?
But I was curious, Mitch. And not to take up too much more of your time, but as far as these day 3 selections, you mentioned Trey Smith, but do you see maybe Noah Gray? I found to be interesting, and Cornell Powell. Do you think any of these guys could be a sleeper to make an impact this year for the Chiefs?
Both of them. Let's take Gray first. The Chiefs need some help at tight end for Travis Kelce. He's been spectacular. He's the best tight end in the league ever. We can make that debate all day long. And Johnny and Abby will be right behind me. We got empirical data to prove it. But he needs help. He has played over 3,300 snaps in the last 3 seasons, and he has been an absolute warhorse. He is the only main guy I'm sitting here thinking that has not missed any time in those 3 years, and that includes 3 straight deep runs into the playoffs. So he is.
Knock on wood. Hurry up.
That's your job, Abby. That is your job. But getting some help at tight end. Plus, Andy Reid is a brilliant schemer, and this kid here now might be another one of the sleepers. Talk about a value pick. I don't think Duke threw to him enough.
No,
he was here with Jones for a while, but when they threw to him, just Google his highlights. Go to YouTube and look at this kid's highlights. He's super smart, tough. He can play H-back. The Chiefs lost Anthony Sherman to retirement. This kid could be actually a Sherman-type replacement. 4 core special teams players, high points the ball like that. And so he's got a chance to be a sleeper. Now, let's go to Powell. Talking about high point, back shoulder throws, somebody that gives he's not a Legion of Zoom 4-3 guy, but he's going to run the 4x4. And Powell was very productive. Ask your Notre Dame folks that are watching the podcast, because he lit up Notre Dame for 176 yards. And keep in mind, he played with Mike Williams, Hunter Renfrow, who else? There was a room full of Clemson dudes that kept him from getting on the field early, but he stayed there. This is the vision. They go beyond what you see and then peel off the veneer. He could have transferred. It's what every kid does now. You just click and drag to the transfer portal. He stayed. He fought, and his best days at Clemson were his last days. He got Virginia Tech and tore them up for 90 yards on 4 catches. He had a huge game against Pitt with a $170. They're not asking him to be D-Hop. They're just asking him to get into the rotation and let Coach Reid use him. But what he brings is a taller red zone target. And if you look at his highlights, his best ball is from the numbers to the boundary, so outside throws. He can high point the ball and back shoulder throws. Don't sleep on that Powell kid.
Well, I'll tell you what, I was a huge Denard Robinson fan. I really, you guys have so much talent over there. And when Denard felt like he was available the last couple of years, I was really hoping the Bears were going to get him, because I just feel like he's a game changer that needs more opportunity. But I certainly feel like he could fill that role. We have a lot of people in the chat. We got Chuck Shipley in the chat. He was really excited about watching the show tonight. He contacted me on Facebook. Another huge fan there are so many huge fans of, and there's Chuck right there, of the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's Chuck and his wife there, and he definitely wanted to give a shout out. And and then another thing was I found in the chat, Johnny B has a lot of different sponsors, and Corey said he wants to paint your picture and give it to you. So we'll have to, maybe Johnny will have to set this up. And I know from the artwork that Johnny gives out for his duck races, they certainly do an incredible job. And you've done an incredible job with us here tonight, Mitch. Again, I know you're a busy man. You do wear so many different hats, from basketball to football, and obviously you have so many different responsibilities with the Kansas City Chiefs. I did wonder if you could do a quick favor for us, because when we have special guests on, we normally have them do a station ID for our show. And it's like, hey, this is David Kaplan, host of, Kaplan Show, and you're listening to Brags in the Stands. But tonight I'd like to do a little something different for our guy, Johnny B, because when we do our shows, normally in the football season, he does a segment called, he's on the whole show, but his segment that he specializes in is called Johnny B for 3, where he gives away 3 picks, per week for fans to try to make a little money off their couch. So I was wondering if you would do us the honor of, saying, hey, this is Mitch Holthus, and you're listening to Johnny B for 3. And if you want to add in the touchdown Kansas City, you're absolutely welcome to, but you can say whatever you like. You're the professional, but would you mind doing that for us, sharing that courtesy?
Yeah, and then after that, we'll do another touchdown Kansas City, and Johnny and Abby will join me for that.
I like it. All right.
Ready?
All right. So I'll cue you up, and I'll get
Thanks.
I'll get your nameplate up that our good co-host and friend Jake made for us. So I'll give you the countdown. Are you ready, Mitch?
Yep.
All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs here, and you're with Johnny B for 3. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Wow, how about that?
Johnny, do it with me.
All right, so I'm gonna get off the screen now, and you're gonna give him the countdown, Johnny. All right, so I'm on.
All right, this is for real now. That was the practice. Are you ready?
Here we go. Belt it out on 3. 1, 2, 3. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Woo!
See all of you at Arrowhead. Let's go.
All right,
Super Bowl 56 in Andy Reid's hometown of LA. We're going.
Let's go. I've already booked my hotel, Mitch. I've already booked our hotel for LA. I'm that confident. I did it last year for Tampa. We will see you and Chiefs Kingdom there. And I know we're going to see my boy, Chiefsaholic, who I went to the Super Bowl with last year, the crazy guy that wears the werewolf suit. He's not that crazy, or is he?
Well, and
here's the deal. I'm all about the region, man. Maryville, Hobart. Just give it all to me.
Well, my mom taught it. My mom taught.
Next time at the Ark, we've got to all get together.
Well, my mom taught 40 years in the Maryville School Corporations at Salk Elementary, and certainly we are lifers of the region, all of us here.
He's a teacher in Crown Point, Indiana.
I am.
And that's where I went to school, but they couldn't wait to get rid of me, Mitch.
Dillinger broke out of there. He had the wooden gun. Dillinger broke out of Crown Point.
That's right. You're exactly right.
Oh, all sorts of history at us today.
Mitch, before you go, too,
all about Highway 30. Let's go.
As the Bears fan, if I could slide in, what do you think of the job Matt Nagy's done so far, and how do you think he will adjust now that he's moving on to his hand-picked quarterback out of the draft, Justin Fields, if I could really quickly?
Okay, Bears fans, just everybody take a deep breath. Just take a deep
We're
breath.
trying.
All right. Now we can all quit talking about Trubisky, because now it's moving on to Justin Fields. I think it was a terrific pick. Nags knows what he's doing. He was around. He was a big part of this offense and a big part of the apprentice year for Patrick Mahomes. I'm not trying to sell him to all of you. Nags, I firmly believe will win there. And if Parkey doesn't double boink the field goal, who knows where that could have gone. But the point is, Nags knows what he's doing. He is cut from the Andy Reid cloth. He was one of our NASA scientists that decided to move there and go on. So I'm telling you, I like what they did in the draft. He's pushing uphill. I understand it. He is going against the wind. But Nags is smart, tough, and he'll coach this kid up. And you almost have a situation a little bit like the Alex Smith-Mahomes deal, where Andy Dalton can help if Andy's willing to do it like Alex was, and Fields is willing to listen like Mahomes was. You've got the whole Mr. Miyagi thing going on again, because let Fields just grow into the role and just let Nags do his thing. back off. Nags knows he can win, and he can win big. So I would tell everybody, whatever patience you got to find it. Because if you run Nags off, be careful. You might get what you wish for.
Well, you're right. It takes a village, just like it took a village for me to get through the Crown Point High School systems. And, it takes a village. You got John DiFilippo in there. You got Bill Lazor. And then you mentioned Andy Dalton, but you still have Nick Foles on the roster, who is unlikely to be cut when you consider his cap hit. So he has a lot of people around him to put the best foot forward for Justin Fields and do it the right way, because obviously the whole thing with Mitch got off kilter, but at the end of the day, talent it rules all. And obviously Justin Fields has supreme talent. So we're really excited here in Chicago, obviously, about that acquisition, because we just needed a new direction. And we were kind of just floating around in the nothingness, trying to get Russell Wilson and everything else. So I'm certainly excited. And I certainly wanted to pick your brain really quickly on that. So again, Mitch, really appreciate all your time tonight. We really hope maybe sometime during the football season you can come back on and break it down with Johnny B. But everything you've given us tonight truly means a lot. It really does. You were a heck of a guest.
I just want to say that I go to so many games, Mitch, with Abby, that the first thing that I do, whether it's the home game and I'm in the hotel, in Kansas City, or I'm on the road in Jacksonville, or I'm anywhere I am in the world, Mitch, the first thing that I do is try to find your calls.
Yes, he does.
On the Twitter, on any kind of
I want to hear Mitch call it. That's
ESPN. The first thing that I do is try to find your call of the plays. I don't want some imposter. I don't want some national TV guy. I want the voice, the legend, Mitch Holthus. I want to hear it from you. I want to hear how you saw it. You brought tears to my eyes the second time after I heard your Damian Williams call, which I reenacted in a duck race so long ago when I started it. And I appreciate everything you do for Chiefs Kingdom. And I know I'm speaking for us all when I say that. And we appreciate your passion as well as that you give to us.
Just make sure on all these road trips that Abby always takes enough bail money. That's one. Two,
especially if
she loves you, Johnny.
I don't have a wallet, Mitch, but I do have a rubber band, so I think we'll be good there. The rubber band holds the bail money, and so far so good. I may look kind of mean, but I'm a pretty nice guy, I think.
Yeah, but you're not soft. You got Chiefs toughness. But hail to the Chiefs Kingdom, hail to the region, right?
Yeah, there we go.
And then hail to the back-to-back AFC champions and the Super Bowl 4 and 54 champion Kansas City Chiefs. Our crosshairs are on Super Bowl 56.
All right,
thanks, you guys. We'll see you at the Arc, maybe.
Yeah, and I promise you won't receive a text or a phone call from me for 6 months, Mitch. I won't bug you anymore.
I'm holding you to that, dude.
Yeah, Greg, man, he'll take you down, man.
Hey,
watch out for him.
Johnny B's my guy.
Cap goes, look out.
Yeah, I mean, they kicked him off ESPN. They have to hang up on him on the radio there. It's crazy, Mitch. I can't.
I'm a bull in a china shop, Mitch, but I want to do something nice.
He'll bird dog you like Frank Clark bird dogged Garoppolo in Super Bowl.
Well, next time you come on during the football season, we'll have Cap with you too, because he's a good friend of mine. So again, Mitch, really appreciate your time tonight. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
You too.
That was Mitch Holthus from the Kansas City Chiefs. How about that, John and Abby? That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mitch is a great guy. It's funny, you see him there on the interview here, and when we ran into him, it was, let's see, I have it here somewhere. We actually met Mitch. Here it is, December 31st, 2018. It was the day after the regular season finale versus the hated Raiders, and we got a chance to meet him. We're in the the pro shop picking up some goods for for Chiefs Kingdom, the people that want the T-shirts and the hats. And all of a sudden, we're kind of looking around.
I go like this. What is that?
Yeah.
But he was like, do you have any hats? I'm like, that's Mitch's voice.
So we heard,
where is he?
Yeah, we heard his voice. Sometimes they play highlights, of the games in the pro shop, but it wasn't a highlight. It was him looking for some hats. And before you know it, we're strike up a conversation. It's Monday morning. Nobody's in there. So he was nice enough to spend about 20 minutes with us, and we chatted about this and that, and we took a picture. And the funny thing is, and I don't know if he knows this or not, but Mitch Holthus is actually the reason that I am on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, because he said he wanted the picture that we took, because it was a good one, as the one that you just showed. And he goes, send that picture to me. And I'm like, Well, you want me to text it to you? Like,
Give me your number.
like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, send it to me on Twitter. So Abby knew that I didn't have Twitter. I didn't have any social media of any kind. So I said, sounds good, Mitch.
And we were
So
like, okay, we're getting on Twitter.
I signed up for Twitter that day, and I tweeted him the picture. I figured it out, and then all this years later, we're the Super Bowl champions. Duck Races is born in a pandemic. I get partners. We're giving away thousands and thousands of dollars of prizes all over the globe, including England and Canada and Mexico and all these other places. So here we are. So Mitch Holthus indirectly caused duck races.
Well, there it is. And the rest was history, as they say. And man, like I said, you're just no shortage of surprises. And we are kindred spirits when it comes to that. But you're always in the moment, like this one here. There's the confetti flying. I mean, does that ever get old for you? The confetti coming down on your head like that?
It doesn't get old. We had it at the AFC Championship. That was before we went to Miami and won the Super Bowl. We had it this year, when we beat the Bills in the AFC Championship. The confetti never gets old. It's a good feeling, and it's a really good feeling when you've got Showtime, Patrick Mahomes, on your team. And if you're down by 6 points and there's even a minute left, there's a good chance he could go 80 yards and you could win the game. Never had that feeling. I'm sure maybe, you got a chance now with Justin Fields to have something like that. I'm excited for you. And, I
hope we square off one day in the Super Bowl. As you mentioned, that wouldn't be too bad, would it?
Yeah, like I said, that's going to be the party of a lifetime. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs versus Justin Fields and the Bears. I swear to God, I hope it's in Miami, because I don't know why they don't have every Super Bowl.
Miami or New Orleans or Vegas.
Oh,
I'll take Vegas.
All of us on the road together.
Oh my goodness! I look
party.
But we got Chuck Shipley in the chat, and he says thanks for the shout out with Mitch. Absolutely, Chuck. I mean, that's what we do here at what we call Brags in the Stands. But tonight is Johnny B in the stands. We're fans in the stands. That's what we pride ourselves on. We have fun doing it. We enjoy people coming to our chat and hanging out. It is a Chicago-centric show, but Johnny B holds it down for the Kansas City section of what we do here, because we let everyone be themselves and talk about what they're passionate about. And Johnny certainly has no shortage of passion for the Kansas City Chiefs. And we share these in-stadium shots that we've been sharing along as the interview was going along all season long, because Johnny's at games all the time. And, if you guys want to join us during the season, Johnny B, as we heard Mitch Holthus do the promo for, he does a Johnny B for 3 segment every week where he gives away picks. And normally there's one of them is a Kansas City prop bet, because he's got his bird's eye view of the Kansas City Chiefs. So you guys should, for our new viewers tonight, make sure you join us. During the baseball season, we're talking Chicago sports. Johnny's a Chicago White Sox fan. I'm a Chicago Cub fan. But we're always talking football at some point. And when the football season's in full force, that's all we're talking about. And we get into everything from the Bears to the Chiefs to everything on Johnny B's gambling prowess and duck races and everything in between. We try to do as much as we can, but Johnny and I are busy men too. So, we only try to do as much as we can. We don't try to overload ourselves, but it certainly was a lot of fun tonight having Mitch on. We talked about keeping him short, keeping him tight, because we know how busy he is, but just to see him open up with you and kind of break down the Chiefs and the memories you guys have going to games was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, well, you could see he's a really intelligent guy. He's got all sorts of information that he stores. Who knows where he puts it. I kind of got a brain like that as well when I'm paying attention. And he just pulls up all these numbers and stats from all these players, different colleges, different historical things. And it makes for a great way to listen to a game. And, he's a great guy in the community as well. And, he throws in some pop culture and some historical stuff. And obviously his calls are unique. His voice is unique. And to see him just go through the draft and all the different things that we talked about today, just like with zero effort, and he didn't know what we were going to ask him. Obviously he might have thought we'd ask him about the draft a little bit, but It's just a true professional. And it's just a great dude and a great guy and a professional. So, I mean, you can't beat that when you got somebody that does what he does for a lot of people, makes a lot of people happy every Sunday, no matter what their background, no matter what their situation in life. Those 3 hours on a Sunday just take you away from it all, getting to watch your favorite sport, NFL football, or your favorite team, Kansas City Chiefs, Chicago Bears, whatever. And it's great to see human beings like that on the earth. Great guy, professional, everything you'd want.
Yeah, 100%. And I want to shout out our guy, David Kaplan from ESPN 1000. He was the one that helped us facilitate this interview because he's good friends with Mitch Holthus. They've called games together for the Missouri Valley Conference for college basketball, as Mitch was referencing, doing some games around here for Loyola and Valparaiso. Yep, that's right. And so maybe we'll have to hunt him down if he's ever in Valpo calling a game. We'll have to go over there and watch it while he's calling a game and introduce ourselves in person. And, certainly seems like a nice guy.
Introduce myself.
That's why I promised him I wouldn't bug him anymore because, it's been, we initially reached out to him. It was like in February, March, coming up on the March Madness tournament. And I was thinking, we could talk Chiefs and also talk a little college basketball since he, calls games for ESPN. But, it made much more sense to have him on this time of year, for the draft where you guys could break it down and really talk about his history, the Chiefs' history, and then maybe sometime down the road we'll pick his basketball brain. But everybody knows Mitch Holthus for Kansas City. I mean,
touchdown Kansas City.
How cool was that? We'll have to take those promos and we'll start and finish them with both of those. Abby, how cool was that for you? Because you haven't made too many. You'll pop in with a few times the brags and stands and peek around the camera, but this is one of your first times really being present here on the show. What has it been like for you to watch Johnny B's evolution from the sports fanatic that he is, and of course I am, and Jenny knows that me as that, but to this evolution of being this duck race phenomenon, and now he's doing this show here. You're one of the most supportive people like I've ever seen. Like, I know just being in the podcast world, I've met so many different people, and it takes a lot of sacrifice from the other half to be able to do these kind of things. And you're always so supportive and energetic with your spirit. What's it been like watching Johnny B's progression through all of this?
Well, I think tonight was really special because it was Mitch that got him on Twitter in the first place. And I just think that is really cool.
Comes full circle.
That coming to the duck races, and that kept us busy during the pandemic. And John B, I'm just proud of him because he wanted to do something fun for people to watch when there was no sports. That's how much he loves sports. And so I was out there filming in the snow last April and watching his ideas grow, and how he could go out every day with new ideas and, watching him write it and then go with movie, I want to do this movie. And he's so excited. And then he's like, I got a new partner. And he's excited for a lot of the artists that he's worked with, and just giving them a platform as well, because people do watch the duck races and they do, right. You don't know if it's a scam, but he really does give away the prizes, and the artists are really great. They do donate the prizes, and it's something super positive, which is what Johnny B is.
We need that in this day and age.
Tonight. I mean, it was just just that 1 second where we met him and took that picture, and what that has led, that's paying it forward and forward and forward and forward. And forward.
Sure. It's fate, and it's positivity is what we need in this world, especially in the last year. I've always said there's two things that everyone can agree on in life, and that's sports and music. That's where you see everyone come together, no matter what their differences are in life, and you put those to the side to enjoy your music or enjoy your sporting event that you're at. And that's what we're all about here. I see Matt Tobin in the chat, a Bears fan, enjoying the conversation, and we'll be back. And we appreciate that. This is a Chiefs show, and the Bears fans here are even enjoying it. We snuck in a Bears question to Mitch because, he does know a lot about Matt Nagy, but I didn't want to take up too much of his time in that regard because we'll get to the Bears one day. But, Matt, tomorrow night, I will break this news. We are doing another show tomorrow night that's going to be our Chicago Bears draft show, and we're having Tom Waddle and Doug Plank come on the show, and Bearman, who's going to make an appearance. He was on last week. So we're going to have former Chicago Bears, Tom Waddle, and Doug Plank showing up on the show tomorrow night. We're going to start back up around 7:45, 7:50, and Tommy will be on at 8, and Doug Plank will be following him up around 8:20 or so. So hope you can join us tomorrow night for that because I'm really excited. I know Johnny B is a big Doug Plank fan. I mean, obviously we're all Tom Waddle fans for many reasons, but Johnny, you were talking about the last time we had Doug on that your mom was a diehard Doug Plank fan growing up.
Yeah, sometimes my mom don't say too much when it comes to the football, but she's a very passionate Chicago Bears football fan and a Chiefs fan now too, because she got, she was the one that took me to Arrowhead for the first time, in conjunction with one of her friends. But she likes Doug Plank and Gary Fensick. Those are her guys, Greg. Anybody that lays the wood and just can decleat people, that's what my mom's all about. Those hits are not even legal in today's game.
But she's a really nice lady.
But she's the sweetest lady ever. She likes to see guys get decleated. I love it.
Hell yeah. So Matt Tobin says, count me in. I appreciate that, man. And, that's what we do here at Brags and Stands. We bring on fun guests. We get cool in-stadium shots. We talk sports. We talk gambling. We talk life. Have a little fun. We do what we do here. And Johnny B, you've been such a huge part of this. And, obviously you and Jake, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do this the way it's done. And it means a lot to me, truly, no smoke about it. When I started this venture up last year in August, it was intimidating to go out on my own, but I knew that's what I wanted. And you and Jake have shown me more support than I could have ever imagined. And I owe you so much debt to that. And doing this little show tonight is a tiny little ounce of that give back. And I plan on trying to pay this back tenfold as much as I can to you, because you're a great friend. And so are you, Abby. You guys are great people and great friends to our family and my daughter. And we look forward to us breaking bread here soon at the new house here coming up real soon here, about 5 weeks away from hopefully getting in. Closing date is in like 3.5 weeks. So the countdown is on, but what's that, Abby?
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. Very excited. And we got Brian Edelman says you give away great prizes, and that's what he does. Johnny B is a man of many talents, wears many hats, and the duck race phenomenon is one that has taken the world by storm.
Ducks line up. Ducks line up.
It's the Ducks line up call. And when you hear that is when we normally play our latest duck. And we're going to try to continue to promote the duck races as much as we can. Johnny shoots these duck races out like a card calendar. Like it's hard to keep up with.
We're over 200 episodes, Greg. We're over 200 episodes. That includes the couple of Bears episodes that we did, and we did some stuff giving away prizes on the show. But yeah, we're I think at 200. It's something like 198 days of duck races since the pandemic started. There's definitely over 200 Chiefs races, and there's a few Bears races. But what about Mitch thinking the race is fixed? Holy cow, he just comes in.
He was salty.
Comes in hot right away.
He was salty about the loss.
Maybe he's used to like the fixed Super Bowl we might have just had.
You know what I was going to say? I was going to say that like in sports, people die in fairy tales, sports tales every day. But he was so upset that he lost. And then it was fixed. It was kind of cute. I like to see his competitive.
It took him a second to take his guard down when we asked him about your announcing prowess. He was like still in the salt mode.
Yeah.
And he had to let the guards down because, hey, there's many races to come, Mitch. I'm sure you're going to win one here soon. And it looked like it was a dead runaway because normally when you come around Dead Duck's Curve, as you affectionately call it, the one that takes the right lane normally wins because it's a clear path, and you don't see too many ducks get caught up in the brush like that. But he got a little wide on his. He got a little wide. Yeah, you're on the base paths. You got to stay, a little straight, and he got a little wider on that base path and got caught up. And Money Mahomes, runs in for the victory.
Well, when I saw his passion and competitiveness coming right out of the gates about the duck race, I knew it was going to be on, baby.
Yeah, we were going to finish. We were going to let's talk Chiefs, and then we're going to finish the episode with the duck race unless he has to go. And he called an audible right away and wanted to go right into the duck races. So I wanted to make sure we shared it along with the audience because, for those that haven't seen it or don't know, you can watch Johnny B's duck races on Twitter, but also on YouTube. And I do have the the Johnny B side. And that's another thing we need to do, Johnny. When we stream these shows, I have different links that I can send them to, and we need to add your YouTube link to the different destinations that we can do it. And that way, when we do a Chiefs centric show, maybe we can stream from your YouTube channel as opposed to mine.
Well, right now, the main way I am set up on YouTube, we're in a transition right now, how we're going to do it going forward. So the way you're going to win the prizes, though, is going to be on the Twitter feed, my Twitter feed. So that's how you win the prizes. You don't win any prizes watching on YouTube. We're trying to figure that out. It's a work in progress. We're so busy, a lot of stuff going on. But if you want to win the prizes, you go on Twitter. You follow my feed, you follow me, you follow the partner, you retweet any duck race post for the week, whether it's the prize post or whether it's the race itself, and you're entered, and it's a draw. And, I put the names in a hat, I pick a name, you win the prize, I say, give me your information, I send you a prize. It's that easy.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom, bada bing.
And then the other thing I was thinking too, while we were prepping for this show and getting ready for it was, and I know you already do so much work here, and I appreciate everything you do. But I certainly think that at some point, even if it was once a month, you need to just start doing your own show that's Chiefs centric. There's so many Chiefs fans. You guys are the hottest team in all of sports, and got the $500 million player.
You flatter me.
And you are a natural when it comes to this stuff, and you do such a great job here. But I also think, hey, anytime you want to use, what we do here at StreamYard and the account, if you want to try to do your own thing at any time, I'm always there to help you in that. And, and then that's just another way to continue to branch this out. But, I also know you're an extremely busy man, just like me here, especially in the summertime. So, it's you can only do so much, but we try to do as much as we can. And look who we've got in the chat, Johnny B. He's gone from Twitter.
Where was he? I've been looking for him.
He took off. He don't want to be on Twitter no more. He got in an argument with Mina Kimes of ESPN, and we haven't seen him since. He's booing us. He's already back into it. I'm happy to see Bear Truth 9 in the chat too. Hasn't showed up for any of these Bear shows in the last year. Barely, Bear Truth 9. Not to call you out, but I barely see you anymore, BT9. Now, here you are for the Chiefs show. So tomorrow night, when we have Doug Plank and Tom Waddle and Bearman coming on, I better see you in the chat. I mean, I'm not trying to take you away from the Tape Never Lies, because those guys are my guys, and I understand they got a show tomorrow night too, and we can spread all the love. But, don't be a stranger in here.
Greg, I'm not kidding you. 3 days ago, I said to Abby.
He did.
I said, where in the hell is Chubbs? I said, I know.
It was killing us.
I heard he was moving to Florida. I'm a big Chubbs supporter, even though he tries to go against me, this and that. But I'm a big Chubbs supporter in all of his chaos. If he who'd you say he got in an argument with?
Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see it. But where did he go? I mean, come on.
Well, I appreciate it. Chubbs is going to be back tomorrow. Well, he had to turn the notifications on YouTube so he knows when the show is going, so that way he can come in and harass us here in the chat. But we certainly have missed you, Chubbs. You're a big part of our show because you're like our only viewer. We try to get as many viewers as we can, but you're our, we have loyal viewers, and that's not to take anything away from Brandon or anybody else that watches our show. And not everybody is as active in the chat and just watches the show and stays quiet. But Chubbs is a huge part of this show because he always gets us fired up in the chat. And we appreciate that, and yes, Bear Truth 9. We are always hanging out, having fun here, and you're always welcome. I'm just busting your chops. Oh, Twitter banned you. Nice. I see. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes. He got reported 10,000 times over. Chubbs, just make a new account, man. We miss you.
Right there.
We miss you, and I know you don't want it. You're probably, hard-nosed about it. And, I'm not coming back if they don't want me on. But Shane lost his account, and he got a new account. So we need you to make one because it's not enough to have the friendly banter just here on the show. We need it on Twitter too. So
we might be on a lunch break or something and we're bored.
Yeah. So Matt Tobin is already trying to get Chubbs fired up by saying the Big 10 is greater than the Big 12. And I'm sure, I'm sure he'd have something to say about that. And you had me at Hello Bear Truth 9, and I appreciate you and all your support all these years. You're a good man. And Chubbs is thinking about coming back on Twitter, so that's exciting news that we'll try to stay tuned for. Yeah, so we've got a lot going on here in the chat.
How about Justin Field equals Chubbs 82?
Hey, and we are excited to talk about Justin Fields here on Brags and Stands tomorrow night. Tom Waddle, former Chicago Bear, not former 85 Bears, some like to joke about, but also Doug Plank, former safety and former Ohio State Buckeye, Doug Plank, so he's an alum of Ohio State, so he has a little more of a connection to Justin Fields in that way. So we're going to pick both their brains and get their reaction to the draft tomorrow night. And then we're going to bring Bearman on too. Him and Doug Plank are really good friends, and give him a chance to react to the draft, because we talked to Don before the draft, and he was certainly talking about Justin Fields as well. And now he's a Chicago Bear, and it's amazing. The Sports Illustrated cover said it perfectly. How did we get here, and what's next? And I'm excited about what's next, but I have no idea how we got there, because it was a miracle. It really felt like when Derrick Rose came to the Bulls on a 1.8% chance of landing the first pick. We all knew he was a Chicago kid, and we all desperately needed a franchise player, and not just a franchise player, somebody that truly represented the fan base. And Derrick Rose, I mean, aside from Michael Jordan, you could argue Derrick Rose was just as much when you consider that he was Chicago born and bred. Now, Justin Fields isn't born and bred in Chicago, but I do believe his impact will carry the same kind of weight that Derrick Rose did, because we have been waiting for a franchise quarterback as long as we have here in Chicago. And also, just when you consider everything we went through this offseason, and then the small percent chance we had to get a guy like Justin Fields at 11, just like you guys got Patrick Mahomes at 10. It almost feels like, there's a complete role reversal from 2017 when we traded up and took the unknown guy and let Deshaun Watson go. This time we took the guy that played in the big games, and he actually fell to us. For once, it works out for Bears fans.
You got to look at it a different way. I was where you were, but you have to look at this a different way. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves before tomorrow, but you cannot look at it as luck. It is not luck. The 49ers made a mistake, and Justin Fields wants to make sure that they know that they made a mistake. The Chiefs,
and maybe the Jets too,
yeah, exactly. The Chiefs moved from way back to get to 10. Okay. They could have taken Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson was still on the board, but Andy Reid and our boy Brett Veach, Mahomes was our guy. And now he's Showtime, and that's the rest is history. So Look at it as not as you got lucky. Other teams made mistakes, and the Bears made the move. So if it works out, it's not luck, baby.
But it's
meant to be. It's called destiny. That's right. That's right.
I believe in that kind of stuff in sports. I believe in the law of averages. I believe in fate. I believe in destiny. But I also believe in a little luck, and I just find it funny that you had teams like Jacksonville or, not Jacksonville, or like Denver and Carolina who sat there at like 8, 9, 10, and yeah, they have Sam Darnold in Carolina, and yeah, they got Teddy Bridgewater in Denver. But you're
Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater.
And
God, what are
I'm sure this cornerback that Carolina picked up is great, but you don't win anything. You're not doing anything until you have a quarterback. And if you have a guy like Teddy or Sam Darnold, those aren't permanent solutions, more than likely. And you want to have as many chances at having that permanent solution. And if you have too many quarterbacks, that's a good thing. Then you can trade one if that's how it works out. But so to me, you saw in the first 3 picks all go quarterback, and it almost was the first 4 picks. It was the first time the first 3 picks were quarterbacks since like 1999. And that was probably unprecedented back then. Right. And nowadays, I feel like you're going to see that more and more because it's a quarterback's league, especially with all the rules they have now. So to see a few teams rationalize other options that led the way to, Justin Fields falling to 11. And you saw, I saw something on Reddit where Denver was trying to work some trades and Pace didn't take the bait and trade up to that spot and maybe give up more equity than he could have. He stayed patient, took the gamble, and got it in the spot where he's friends with Dave Gettleman of the New York Giants and was able to facilitate that blockbuster move that may live in infamy for Chicago Bears fans, wherever the way you talk about the Mahomes trade up moment. And there was the Chicago Bears that helped pave the way in some small way, even though not many had him projected at 2, but I mean, hey, every team that passed on him, didn't have the foresight that your team and Andy Reid did. And that's the kind of stuff you need, destiny you need for those kind of things to fall into place.
Well, I don't want to give too much away for tomorrow's show when we're talking more about Justin Fields, but I'm going to get into that a little bit more, some of the comparisons, as I just briefly stated, between the Mahomes situation and the Justin Fields situation. But, it's very similar in a lot of ways. A tortured franchise, that had issues. We haven't really had that franchise quarterback. I mean, Alex Smith was great. Don't get me wrong. A great guy. He had his best years of his career in Kansas City. But I just didn't feel like if we had the ball with a minute left, if we needed to score, could he be the guy to do it? I honestly, as much as I love Alex Smith, and as Mitch said, maybe he's in that Ring of Honor one day in Kansas City. I just don't know if that was my guy if we were behind and needed to score.
I felt like maybe he didn't believe if he could do it sometimes, and that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it is. I'm sure we'll elaborate a lot more on these comparisons tomorrow as we're talking with Tommy Waddle and Doug Plank about
two legends of the Chicago Bears
situation of these comparisons. And obviously there's the Nagy connection from Andy Reid tree and all this stuff. There's a ton of stuff. Hank Stram is from the area where we are right now, and the Chiefs to their first Super Bowl,
matriculating down the field.
I mean, we might have a paradox here. Something might blow up. I don't know.
That's why I've never had any issue with you rubbing this Chiefs luck onto Braggs in the stands here, because we need all the luck we can get here, even though you're more about destiny than luck. I think you need a little bit of both at the end of the day. I mean, you're seeing with the White Sox, you're a White Sox fan, they're getting a little bit of bad luck here. And that's what happens. You either get good luck or bad luck, but you get the good luck. That's one of the boxes you need to check to win a championship, and that's how it goes.
You know what the number one factor in football to get over bad luck is, don't you?
What's that?
It's called a franchise superstar quarterback. Do you know what the number one thing that you need in baseball to get over bad luck?
What's that?
Insane, outstanding pitching. So you can take your bad luck. I used to believe in bad luck. I don't anymore. You want to know why? Because I got Patrick Mahomes on my football team. I don't believe in bad luck.
There you go. And we've had a lot of questions flying into the chat. Brian Edelman wants to know my thoughts on Rodgers. Well, and as Johnny said, we want to save a lot of this conversation for tomorrow's show when we have Tom Waddle, Doug Plank, and Bearman on. But I will say this quickly when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. Not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but I feel like a curse has been lifted when the announcement came that he wants out of Green Bay. And I've said from the start, if he's trying to leave Green Bay to go to Jeopardy, I will support. I've never thought I'd support Aaron Rodgers in anything, but I will support him till my dying day. I will DVR every single Jeopardy show.
What is off my bags for Rodgers as quick as possible for 1,000, please?
Yes, I will do whatever. I will donate to the show. I'll do whatever I have to do, but we're going to be talking about it all tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Central is when Tom Waddle's coming on. 8:20 or so, depending on how long we're kicking it with Tom. We're going to transition to Doug. He might hop on and say hi to Tommy at the back end of the Waddle interview. And then when Plank comes on, Bearman will come in at some point to transition to end Douglas Plank. So very excited for all that. And we'll get to the offensive line talk. Chiefs Bears Super Bowl. Chubbs is predicting, as Johnny has too. I'd prefer to just not play somebody that I'm friends with the team, as much as that would be fun. Like, if we're going to win it,
we're going to be there, Greg.
I know you're going to be there.
You better be there too.
I know you're going to be there. So it's more about us getting there, but it would be nice if like a team got lucky from the AFC, like the Bills, that'd be more fun. We'll play the Bills. Although the Bills, they haven't won one in a long time either. So I don't know if I want to face that storm. I can't decide who I want to play in the Super Bowl yet, so I have to think about it.
If you want to laugh at what you just said, go look at what Josh Allen and the Bills have done against Patrick Mahomes and look at the stats, and you will never speak those words again. Don't listen to the media. They get on all the hype wagons. Who's the fresh face? Oh, Josh Allen got fixed. No, you got sent home. And Stephon Diggs looking up at the confetti saying, what the hell happened? We're going to the Super Bowl, and you are not. Stephon Diggs, see you later.
Well, there you go. And Chubbs is going to join us on our Super Bowl venture the day the Chicago Bears make it, especially if they play the Chiefs. We will all be there. So that's very exciting stuff. So I think that about wraps things up for tonight. You know, again, we got another busy night tomorrow night and got to prep for it and get ready for it. But it was a lot of fun tonight. You know, I definitely want to shout out all our new viewers from Chiefs Kingdom that came in to support Johnny B. You're always welcome here at what we call Brags in the Stands, but tonight was Johnny B in the stands, and I was proud of that because, you know, as I've said before, Johnny B works very hard here on Brags in the Stands, so I want to try to give him as much of a platform as I possibly can here, and I want to thank all the people in the chat that were active, hanging out, talking, doing their thing, and you know, maybe a Super Bowl ticket giveaway one day on a duck race. But we got, I think he's got to really shoot for the moon. You know, I mean, he gives amazing giveaways away, but that'd be another level.
You know, Greg, as much as I've done out of my own personal stash of memorabilia and the money I've spent out of my own pocket, you know, partnering with my friend who owns Jack Stack Barbecue in Kansas City, one of the top barbecue places in Kansas City. All the other partners that I've had, the artists, you know, the artist chief, Caitlin, you know, the list goes on. A memorabilia company, TSE, Kansas City. You know what? I haven't got that call from the Chiefs yet to throw in some prizes for the races. Who knows? Maybe one day it'll happen, and maybe we'll get a Super Bowl ticket or maybe at least some tickets to a game in Kansas City. You never know.
Well, Chubbs is in the chat, and he says that when the Super Bowl ticket's given away, he needs Chubbs to be written underneath every duck.
Hey,
so
Chubbs won a prize.
He did win a prize once. He won the Hampton jersey, correct?
I think so, yeah. I think it was
the Dan Hampton jersey. Yeah. So, you know, we do fun giveaways here, and we'll try to integrate the duck race phenomenon here more to the show. Maybe try to give some incentivize some of the viewers to come into the show on a special duck race where you can only get the winner or the prize here. But, you know, like I said, you know, we do a lot of stuff and we try to not go crazy with it, you know, because we do have other responsibilities here other than our silly little podcast that we have a lot of fun doing. So yes, Matt Tobin, we will see you tomorrow. And, you know, that's right. A Hall of Fame signed jersey. Yeah, Johnny B gives away some of the coolest prizes out there. And we do a lot of charitable things here at Brags in the Stands. We take a lot of pride in giving back to the people, the fans in the stands. Because at the end of the day, that's all Johnny B and I and me and Abby are our diehard fans in the stands. So, again, I think that wraps things up for tonight. I want to give a big shout out to Mitch Holthus, you know, the legendary play-by-play announcer for the Kansas City Chiefs, giving an amazing promo drop for Johnny B for 3 and gave us some really fun insight and good energy. Shout out to you, Mitch. And again, shout out to David Kaplan from ESPN 1000 for helping us facilitate that. He's a really good friend. And Matt Mahalski, shout out to you. Hats off to Johnny B all day long. So, this is the end of the Johnny B in the Stands, official first ever Johnny B in the Stands show. And I'll let you end it the way you always do, and then we'll call it a night. What do you say, brother?
Sounds good, my man. First of all, thank you, Greg, for setting this up with the legendary Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Touchdown, Kansas City. I think we had a great interview. Sorry, Mitch, the duck didn't work out for you this first race. But you know what? Not many people have won their first race, and I'm sure you'll get that victory soon. And remember, Chiefs Kingdom, money won is far sweeter than money earned. Let's go, Chiefs. Let's go. Woo!
That's how you finish a show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps things up for tonight. We'll finish with Johnny B's duck race where Mitch Holthus's duck falls just short, but that's okay. It's a great call. So here it is one last time, the inaugural Mitch Holthus race where he almost got the win, but he's got to learn the tides to the river before he does that. So
don't come back from Dead Ducks Curve.
Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow night. Tom Waddle, Doug Plank, and Bearman coming on 8 p.m. Central. Don't miss it. Here we are.
Johnny B side here, Chiefs draft day edition of Duck Races. Well, we already know what our boy Veach did, and now maybe we got the best offensive line in the book. Today is the day Mitch Holthus Duck makes his debut. But let's all reminisce about the greatest trade up in the history of the NFL draft when we traded up to get Patrick Mahomes. Showtime! I can't even believe it. Let's take a look at the Ducks. All the usual suspects and lucky numbers. The offense is rolling today. Don't forget to follow me and Cynthia, my new Duck Races partner, and retweet any Duck Race post for your chance to win one of her fabulous prints. Ducks line up. Ducks line up. And we need to hit the draft. And they're off, and Butt Kicker has the lead, and here comes D-Train. It's D-Train, Butt Kicker, and Big Red, 1, 2, 3. It's the D-Train, now Butt Kicker, and here comes the Cheetah. It's the Cheetah, Butt Kicker, and Big Red. Mahomes is trailing, and now here comes the Cheetah, passing a little bit as they get to the horseshoe. It's the Cheetah in the lead, and Butt Kicker, and here comes Mitch. Mitch has got his headset on. He's ready to call for himself. It's Mahomes and Mitch. Mitch going around the outside, that Ducks curve, and here comes Mahomes coming through the jungle. It's Mitch and Mahomes, and who is it going to be? It's touchdown, cat. Oh, no. He gets stuck. Mitch gets stuck. And Mahomes says, I've been here and done it, mister. And Mahomes takes the lead on the anniversary of the greatest draft pick in the history of the NFL. Winner, winner, ducky dinner as Mahomes devours the flock. Woo!